Hi, well, I'm John. I'm back again. Today we're going to be exploring the simple question of how cool should bosses be? Now, I recently read an article that millennials, or the young ones that are coming into the market these days, are actually looking for cool bosses. And that then becomes one of the factors in their decision about whether to join an organization or not. Now, if that's the case, then we better find out what cool actually is. Okay, so what is cool? Now, one thing that you've got to be aware of is your definition of cool and my definition of cool and their definition of cool may be different. I asked a young intern of ours, so what's cool to you? And he said, well, it's got to be sporting, got to be casual and informal and so on and so forth. And that's pretty cool, right? So, but you've got to also be aware that what they want and what they need may be two different things. I get a lot of bosses that get very stressed out when I tell them, hey, you know what, you got to try to be cool. And they get really upset about it. Well, here's the good news. Cool in your eyes may be very different from cool in their eyes. What is cool? So cool means you, their bosses, have got to become the personification of what they can be in the 10 or 20 years' time, which basically means hope. Our job as managers and bosses and leaders is to become a beacon of hope about who they can become in 10 to 20 years' time. That's cool. Okay, so then the question then comes to how? How do you be cool? Well, there are so many little things that we could tell you to do, but which wouldn't really meet the point. So I'm just going to share with you the golden rule. Being cool, you can only be as cool and as casual as the other party wants you to be. So be very aware of the limits and the boundaries that they've set for you as their boss. Good general rule to follow. When in a casual setting, don't talk formal stuff. When in a formal setting, don't talk about casual stuff. You don't want to be the kind of boss that talks about work all the time, especially if they've invited you to their karaoke session or their teh tarik sessions or just the hangout, chill out sessions. Now, it's all very good to be cool and casual and informal and so on and so forth. Sounds like a wonderful workplace to be in, isn't it? But one thing I've learned in my years of training is that there is always a line. And you've got to be very careful that you don't cross that line. The question now that comes to mind is, where is that line and who draws that line? Well, I once had a conversation with a very senior person. And he was very upset over the fact that he was trying to be a very cool boss by initiating conversations during lunch and coaching sessions over dinner and stuff like that. And they just weren't responding. The following conversation I had happened to be with his subordinate. And she mentioned to me that she wasn't very comfortable having conversations over lunch and coaching conversations over dinner and so on and so forth because she felt that he was flirting. Now, there was no ill intention. It was just one boss who was trying very hard to be cool that then got, lines mixed up with somebody who didn't get the message. So balance and communication is key. Now, when in doubt, just bear in mind, what is the brand and the perception that you would like the public, i.e. your subordinates and the general public, to have about the culture of your organization? Fall back on that. Make sure that the behavior represents that first. And then within those confines, you can then be casual.